Hey, Joyful Journeyer. Welcome to the show. Today I'm going to read another chapter from my book, and this one is about overcoming limiting self-beliefs. And like every chapter in my book, I start with a short story. And today, in this chapter, I'm going to take you back to a time in my childhood where some of my limiting self-beliefs were first born. And then we'll get into a little bit of, I'll share a little bit more about how to overcome those limiting self-beliefs. So let's dive in. It's my book, Whispers of the Soul. We're going to look at chapter 11 today. Chapter 11 is Unveiling Self-Love, Breaking Through Limited Self-Beliefs. All right. It's morning, and I need to get ready to go to school. Grade 8 has been a tough year for me, so I don't want to be late. But I don't want to come out of my room because my stepdad, Paul, is sitting at the kitchen table, and I have to walk past him to get to the bathroom. Oh, please, just go back to bed. I silently pray. He doesn't budge, though. I spy on him through the crack in the door. Paul has recently lost his job. I don't know why he lost it, but he's been in quite the mood lately. And more now than ever, he seems to want to take out his anger on me with his cruel comments and criticism. Every morning, he's been sitting at the kitchen table in his coffee-stained baby blue housecoat with the sash tied just below his big protruding belly. There's a cigarette burning in the ashtray that is overflowing with butts and ashes, evidence that he's been sitting there for hours, smoking one after another and letting the mess spill onto the table. He won't clean that up either. My mom will. She always does. She always cleans up after him, even though she works full time and he doesn't even leave the house. He's reading the newspaper and has an angry sneer on his face. I finally work up the courage to come out of my room and make a dash for the bathroom. Our eyes meet, and I see that look wash over his face. I know he thinks I'm stupid. He tells me that all the time. And when he doesn't say it directly, he'll throw big words at me and then laugh. You don't even know what that means, do you? Usually, this happens in the company of others because humiliation is part of his strategy to keep me in my place. It's more than just the things he says, though. It's the way he looks at me with disappointment and often disgust in his eyes. It's that look that hurts more than the words. It says, you are ugly, you are stupid, and you are worthless. I avert my eyes, and in a few quick strides, I'm in the small bathroom around the corner before he can say a thing. I lock the door, turn to look at my reflection in the mirror, and silently cry. This has become my morning routine. I can't even leave the house, other than to go to school or to the corner store to buy Paul cigarettes. I've been grounded, again, for a month because I didn't put the garbage in the garbage bin correctly. Apparently, Paul told me before how to do it properly. Why don't you use that pea-sized brain of yours and think? He growls. Damn it, are you stupid or something? I am stupid, I think. That was proven a few years ago when I failed grade 5. I mean, who fails grade 5? That was probably one of the most painful experiences of my life to this point. Well, that and having to live with a man who looks at me with disgust and repeatedly and publicly reminds me of my stupidity. When I was held back from advancing with my classmates to grade 6, we were all in the gymnasium. The whole freaking school was there. Mr. Wood, the principal, is up on the stage and he starts by announcing the new grade 1 class. One by one, the kindergartners from last year are called up to move into their new class with their new grade 1 teachers, everyone clapping and cheering. Then the grade 2s, then the grade 3s. It's coming. I'm going to be called soon. My heart races. The grade 4s are called, then the new grade 5 class. I hear my name. Anita Vandeplas, booms Mr. Wood. I get up from my spot and move away from all my classmates to go stand with the new grade 5ers. An auditorium full of people watched as I head back to grade 5. There was no clapping or cheering, a whole lot of whispering, though, and I'm sure if I look, I'll see snickers on the faces, snickers just like my stepdad's. I don't look, though. I keep my eyes on my shoes as I walk to my new position in this school. After years of hearing it from my stepdad, it is now confirmed by Mr. Wood and witnessed by the whole school. I hear the repeated thought in my head, yeah, I must be stupid, and everyone knows it. When I take a seat with the kids in my new grade 5 class, everyone keeps a distance, as if stupidity is contagious or something. I feel utterly alone. I share these two stories as a way to give you a glimpse into how a powerful limiting self-belief took shape, and perhaps provide insights into how your own may have developed. These memories and countless others firmly planted the belief that I was not smart, that I was unworthy and unlovable, because in my mind, these things, smarts, worthiness, lovability, were all interconnected. What I've learned from my own personal journey that has included years of therapy and from working with clients is that in order to overcome any limiting self-belief, you have to first love yourself deeply. Growing your love for yourself is the single most important thing you can do to heal past wounds and develop the confidence you need to step into being the person you want to be. It's also the key that unlocks the door to accessing your inner wisdom. In order to be able to develop a deep love for self, a good starting point is to first understand how not loving yourself completely shows up for you. Then ask, what does the impact of not loving yourself have on your life? For me, not loving myself showed up in the belief that I was not enough, which led to seeking validation from others and to really destructive behaviors. Low self-love can manifest in all sorts of ways. It can shut you down emotionally, mentally, sexually. A lot of people, and I think women particularly, and doubly so if they are mothers, do not make time for themselves to develop their self-love. Self-love is a beautiful skill you can master, one you can work on every day, one that will bring you pleasure, boost your confidence, strengthen your relationships with others, and open the door to your inner wisdom. What does self-love mean to you? What are ways you can express your love of self? Here are some examples. Being kind and gentle in how you talk to yourself. Prioritizing yourself and making sure your needs are met. Giving yourself a break from self-judgment. Trusting yourself. Setting healthy boundaries. Forgiving yourself. For many people, self-love is another way to say self-care. To practice self-care, we often need to go back to the basics. Listen to our body, getting enough sleep and eating well, taking breaks from work to move our bodies, to stretch. Put the phone down, that's a big one, and close the computer and connect to self and others. Do something creative. Self-love may be defined in many different ways, but for the purpose of this book, self-love is defined as accepting yourself exactly as you are in this very moment without judgment. It means accepting your emotions for what they are and putting your physical, emotional, and mental well-being first. Being aware of the language you use when talking to yourself and about yourself and your life is an important step to deepening your love and respect for yourself. Take note of that critical voice, and when it appears, acknowledge it for what it is, usually fear. Then hit the reset button. You can do that by simply saying something like, I take that back, and then rephrase your negative statement with a more compassionate, loving statement. Some things I used to say a lot to myself that undermined my self-love were things like, Anita, you're being such an idiot. What a stupid idea. I can't believe you got it wrong. Every once in a while, I still catch myself saying these things or thinking these things. I've got years and years of training to undo. When I catch myself, I take a second to lovingly address the negative thought and say something like, "Oh, Anita, you are not being an idiot. That wasn't a stupid idea, and there's nothing wrong with getting it wrong. That's how you learn and grow." Even if you say negative things in jest, they are harmful, as your thoughts and words create your reality. Not only will your belief in those negative sentiments grow stronger when you continue to say them, others will also start believing them about you. So I encourage you to be very mindful of the language you use and be loving with yourself always. Now, how does low self-love affect your ability to access inner wisdom? Well, that's a great question. When you tune into your inner wisdom, you need to be open to hearing the answers without judgment. Your inner voice of wisdom will always speak to you of your best and highest choice and will lead you on a path to the grandest version of your life. Your job is to heed that voice and not abandon the vision. To do that, you have to believe in yourself by loving yourself. You have to turn off the judgment and dial down the critical voice. If you already have a lot of self-love and practice it daily, you're off to a great start in being able to access your inner wisdom and create a most remarkable life. If you are not there yet, or if you need to boost your self-love quota, start by defining what self-love means to you. What are meaningful ways that you can express it? Maybe that means creating more time for yourself and what you love, speaking more kindly to and about yourself, writing yourself a love letter. What are some other acts of self-love? A friend of mine, she tracks her self-love activities by placing a heart in her digital calendar next to the things she does that are for her. I love this idea. This is such a beautiful thing to do because you can then see at a glance how much or how little you are making your self-care a priority and adjust accordingly. Pay attention to how much love and self-care you're giving yourself. Most importantly, take notice and be aware of the things you say and think about yourself and the feelings you have. Awareness is the first step to any lasting change. Most people walk through life unaware of their thoughts and feelings. Not you, though. You are listening to this podcast, hopefully reading my book as well, and paying attention because you are on a journey to your best self and to your greatest life. And that journey starts by being aware. This awareness is a big part of that inward-looking journey. Looking inward is simply about getting to know and better understand who you really are. And in the process, learning to accept and love that person. What I'd like to suggest now is that you try to get to know yourself as if you're trying to get to know a new friend or a lover. Be curious, ask questions, and remain open and accepting of the answers that come. A beautiful place to start, as I've already shared, is to ask, who am I? You can do this when you're walking in nature, meditating, or journaling. As your stream of consciousness, allow your stream of consciousness to flow unfiltered. When I first started asking myself, who am I? And I still like coming back to this question periodically, I would rattle off a bunch of things that I already understood about myself. I am an awesome mom. I am a loving wife. I am a tree-hugging nature enthusiast. I am a hiker, kayaker, cycler. I am an entrepreneur. I am healthy and relatively fit, working on removing the relatively fit part. I am a spiritual being. And then I started thinking about the things I didn't believe I was, but wanted to be. I want to be more confident, financially secure, funnier, smarter. These wants revealed some limiting beliefs. I didn't feel confident, financially secure, funny, or smart, or more accurately, smart enough to achieve my goals. This is where the deep dive into understanding yourself begins and where it can take you into some dark corners of your mind and who you think you are. Corners you may be resistant to shine a light on. I encourage you to hold that light up high, though, and look and really look at who you are choosing to be and why. This is how you identify your limiting self-beliefs. And as we've already covered, awareness is the key to any lasting change. When you identify those limiting beliefs, your job is to explore them. Ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Be a third-party observer, like you observed the story I shared about where some of my limiting beliefs came from. Most importantly, be gentle and lovingly curious. Remember, you are trying to get to know yourself by building a relationship with yourself. Just like building a relationship with a new friend or lover, you wouldn't attack or criticize them if they vulnerably shared their truth with you. Hold the same kind of space for yourself in this exploration. Always keep in mind that this inward-looking journey is like having a love affair with yourself, because that kind of mindset during the process will open up your heart and enable you to move out of your limiting self-beliefs into powerful, life-affirming beliefs. Beliefs that will bring more love into your life and make you unshakable so that you can stand firmly in your truth, the truth of who you are. I was shakeable, very shakeable for a very long time because I didn't love myself enough, which allowed me to believe the lie that I wasn't smart. This was perhaps my biggest limiting belief. In fact, it's one of the reasons I held so tightly onto the film business I started. All the validation I got from that business helped me feel smart. I even began to tell myself the truth, although in those early years of running my business, it often felt more like I was trying to convince myself. I would argue I wouldn't have been able to grow this company into a national organization if I wasn't smart. And I wouldn't have been able to attract some of the smartest people in the Canadian film industry to my board of directors if they thought I was stupid. I eventually did come to believe these statements. Remember the power of words and how they shape your reality. Yet I still felt a powerful need to prove my intelligence, so I flaunted what I had accomplished. It's not that I bragged so much, but I did wear my title like a badge of honor and clung to my accomplishments like a life raft. To overcome my limiting self-belief so I could stand in a position of enoughness, I had to understand the root cause for those feelings of not being smart and not being enough. Where did that come from? That was pretty easy to identify. My stepdad and that traumatic childhood experience at school that I shared at the beginning of this chapter. Finding the root of an issue isn't about finding a place to lay blame for how messed up you feel about yourself or your life. It's about lovingly understanding that we are affected by the things that have happened in our past. It's about acknowledging those pain points so you can grow from them and move past them. Forgiveness plays an important role here. That's a big topic, so we'll come back to that later. You'll have to read my book to get that chapter. Reprogramming yourself to use loving language, to be kind to yourself, and to fall in love with yourself takes time and conscious effort. For me, I started that journey in my 20s with seeing counselors, attending confidence and self-love workshops, and reading hundreds of self-help books. I continued working on myself over the years, slowly making progress and learning to love myself a little more each year. The success I had in growing my business played a big role in boosting my confidence and belief in my own intelligence, which helped me love myself. But the big change came many years later. Yes, when my business coach sent me into the woods on that 30-day nature challenge. At the time, I thought that challenge was an exercise intended to help me calm my anxiety, which it certainly did. What I didn't expect was that it also greatly deepened my love and respect for myself. It does not need to take years to become someone who loves himself deeply. This is something you can grow much more quickly if you continue to do the work outlined in this book and practice the wisdom way of being. Every time you make time to read a chapter and complete one of the exercises from my book, that is an act of self-love. And that self-love will unlock the door to inner wisdom and enable you to create a life you love. So my friend, Joyful Journeyer, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you haven't picked up your copy of Whispers of the Soul, I head over to my website, joyfulinspiredliving.com or Amazon, and you'll find a link there where you can order a copy. And if you're looking to go deeper into the work, into really getting over those limiting self-beliefs that are holding you back and strengthen your love for self so you become unshakable, then I invite you to check out some of the programs I have to offer. There's a number of different things on my website that can support you on that journey. Some are free and some are not. So check it out, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, Joyful Journeyer, have a fabulous day. And I hope to hear from you. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.